Hello teacher, today we talk about the question, how has COVID-19 affected the education field? The pandemic that affected the entire society around the March 2020 seems to be coming to an end. However, it left many damage in the lives of all humanity, from the way of work to the education field. From the beginning of the quarantine, political leaders and those in charge of education throughout the world decided to continue with the classes in a virtual way and at a distance. This brought with it many doubts about how to use the suggested platforms in the educational development of the students at the same time that it detracted from the face-to-face classes. Much was said about the effectiveness of virtual education. Virtual education has been defined as a distance educational through cyberspace possible through the connection and use of the internet, which doesn't require a specific time and space, which allow establishing a new communication scenario between teachers and students. For a virtual education modality to be a quality, it must contemplate certain requirements, such as having the appropriate technological resource and the necessary service to access the educational program, that the structure and content of the virtual course offer educational value, that effective learning take place, and that is a satisfying environment for both students and teachers. However, not all nations had all these resources for the development of this new modality, which brought with it many disagreements from teachers, students, and parents. However, there was not much that could be done since it was that or lose the school year, because a return to face-to-face classes represented an increase in the number of infections by the virus. In this situation, marked by the fear and uncertainty in the face of health events and their social, labor, and economic consequences, the figure of the teacher has played a fundamental role that has gone far beyond the pedagogical aspects. He transformed his face-to-face teaching into remote teaching from home and media didactic materials in order to favor the learning of his students, opting for virtuality, and education offers a more flexible teaching and learning model, where good teaching practices and the facilitators of educational process through the use of the TICs. This puts the teacher in a very important role, since although we have all tried to adapt to the new modalities that have been established, teachers must have the due recognition, since without them and their great pedagogical feat, the learning that they would not have been achieved they were obtained during almost this year and a half of the health emergency. Reflection. It's not a new issue that COVID-19 affected a lot and hit all humanity in an unexpected way, and many us realize in this situation our social class, race, language, and other social situations do not matter that throughout time. They have caused us difference and discrimination. Millions of deaths shows the power with which this virus came to hit the world, where a society supposedly adapt and are ready for everything didn't know how to handle any aspect. By saying this, I mean educational, political, social, and economic. In short, and it is no hidden truth that humanity was not ready for this event. However, this all the consequence, with all the sacrifice that we have had to make to survive, we have a new opportunity to continue with our lives and try to do this world a better place for us and future generations. I suggest giving it a much more important role than the one it currently receives, especially in our country, where perhaps, and if it is receiving a good percentage of capital destined to the progress of the nation, we are not training and in constant development with all those involved in these institutions. Education today, thanks to the virus, we can see it as a bit traditionalist, going back face-to-face classes, or we can even take them in a virtual way, using and taking advantage of a few good things. Training teachers in possible future and new methodology of teaching sessions is of utmost importance, so that in future generations If another health emergency or social situation occurs where immediate intervention and educational adaptation are needed due to the situation, teacher, be prepared and have more options to follow and choose what to come blank. Thank you.